is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
What do you think of when you hear the word refugee? Since the Refugee Act of 1980 was passed, the definition was written into law as a person with a well-founded fear of persecution. That's the United States definition, which is in line with the United Nations protocols. Refugees and what to do about them has been a big topic in this country for many years and increased in attention with the start of the Trump administration, when the president talked about travel bans and Muslim bans as a way to limit certain people from traveling to the United States. To be sure, many supporters of the administration agreed with those actions, as they have also agreed with this administration's actions the past 3 years to reduce the number of refugees allowed into the United States. The numbers show the president's priorities from 2016 until now, and the expected number to be admitted for 2020. You can see the drop from the 2016 year, the last year of the Obama administration, to the start of the Trump administration, where for the most part, there have been steady declines to where the president has set the ceiling for refugees to be admitted this year at 18,000. Now, everything about what I've said so far is not political in any way. It is a fact about refugees being allowed into this country. The president's executive order signed in September gave states and cities the right to say no to refugees being resettled in their communities, something no state had decided to do until Texas Governor Abbott a bit more than a week ago, meaning no refugees would be allowed to settle in Texas in 2020. A number of organizations in this community who are on the front lines of helping refugees resettle came out this past week on Tuesday against that decision by the governor. Then on Wednesday, a federal judge, Peter Mesite, blocked the policy, saying that, among other things, the order does not appear to serve the overall public interest. Here this morning to talk about some of the realities of refugees and the challenges of understanding the difference between refugees, asylum seekers, and illegal immigrants, Jeff Watkins, who is the Vice President of Social Equity and Inclusion for the YMCA of Greater Houston, and Ali Al-Sadani, the Chief Programs Officer of Interfaith Ministries for Houston. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Cameron.
Morning. Before we get into this, what do each of your organizations do as it relates to getting refugees resettled?
So, the YMCA has a specific center, the YMCA International Services, that since 1978 has provided services to refugees and other vulnerable populations. So our work in this area actually predates the Refugee Act of 1980.
And your role, once the United States declares someone is a refugee, then is when you start to help those folks?
Yes, this is resettlement. Right. So these are refugees that have been identified overseas. They met that definition that you so accurately shared in terms of that well-founded fear of persecution. They've been vetted extremely well before they're ever even considered for resettlement into this country. And these really are technically the most vulnerable refugees of the 26 million refugees currently existing around the world.
So Ali, what is the Interfaith Ministries role in all of this?
So we have a similar role to the YMCA, and we are part of a consortium, Houston Consortium of Refugee Services Providers, that provides refugee resettlement to the refugees who are legally vetted and coming through the legal channels to the United States. Interfaith Ministries for Greater Houston has been doing refugee resettlement for the last 30+ years. Mm-hmm. And Houston is unique in this sense, because we set the example for the nation in being the most organized, coordinated, and strong infrastructure for the refugee resettlement.
What were your thoughts? You saw the numbers, you've seen the decrease over the years. What were your thoughts when you heard about the governor decided to take the president up on limiting and actually eliminating the opportunity for resettling here in Texas? Your thoughts when you first heard that,
so,
and how does it affect your organizations?
Right, so we've not only seen the drop in numbers, we've experienced the drop in numbers. The YMCA was very disappointed that the governor took this stand, because I don't think it reflects the opinion of most Texans. And we think that the decision was actually based on some poor or inaccurate information, and we really think it's our role to share good information in terms of the positive impact economically and otherwise that refugees have on our community.
The lack or the decrease in numbers, how does it impact interfaith?
Cambrell, as we have seen this, it's impacting our services to the refugees, it's impacting the most, it's impacting the people who are overseas and need our help the most. And part of these individuals are our allies, the SIVs, who are supporting our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's an unfortunate situation, and we have been really surprised by the governor's decision.
When you say SIVs, that's acronym for?
Special Immigrant Visa Holders.
Okay, so those folk can, those are also in the same category when you're considering refugees? Or they get a different kind of system?
No, so there is, both of them, they get the benefit of resettlement through the United States Refugee Assistance Program, but they have different legal definitions.
Do you understand how people can be sometimes kind of concerned about this? Because we're in a political environment now where immigrants and refugees and asylum, and it really all comes into one basket. And it really isn't. They're really all separate kind of scenarios. But do you understand why people are kind of concerned about maybe the refugees coming in, what it means when you hear that?
Yeah, and it's not just the public. I think in the governor's letter expressing his lack of consent for refugee resettlement in the state really conflated a lot of these populations in terms of refugees with undocumented immigrants, with the homeless. There was a lot of conflation that's going on there, and the refugees, the definition is so precise, and these individuals have established that they would be subjected to persecution. And it's a very small subset, but very, very specific, and they undergo more scrutiny than any immigrant that's coming to the United States.
You've seen the video of thousands of people walking toward the border, and we see those videos all the time. People look at that and they think, okay, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And they may have similar concerns. Those folk may feel persecuted as well.
Correct.
But they haven't gone through, from my understanding, they haven't gone through anywhere close to what a legitimate United States approved refugee is going through. And those folks, the refugees, are in the category that we're talking about.
Well, Kimberly, you're absolutely right. And back to your question, like, do we understand that some people might feel skepticism and they are kind of taking a cautious approach when they hear refugees? We do. People in general, they have the tendency of being very careful of someone who doesn't look like them, doesn't speak like them, doesn't have the same characteristic in the beginning, which is understandable. But when you look at the whole immigration system in the United States, it's challenged, it's not really working very well. We have a broad immigration system. But when you look at this small program that has been in place since the 1980s, it's actually preceded that since the 1940s. It's a program that is federally managed and regulated. It's a program that is clearly with defined goals and outcomes. It's a program, the only program in our immigration system that has a proven record of tangible outcomes and working. So instead of embracing this program, look at it, encourage it, strengthen it, to be an example that might be replicated in other areas in the whole immigration system. We have seen the crisis at the southern borders. But the refugee resettlement program, which is an unfortunate situation, and we should do everything we can in our legal way and compassionate way to help these people. Yeah. But the refugee resettlement program is a program that is regulated, controlled by the federal agencies. Refugees go through an entry process of 18 to 36 months, and they come here, and we know who is coming, and we provide services, and they are active members of their communities.
We are talking about refugees, official plans to try to stop them from coming to Texas, what it's like to apply for and get in the United States as a refugee. We'll talk about someone who knows that very well next. Welcome back to Houston Newsmakers, joined this morning by Jeff Watkins, the Vice President, Social Equity and Inclusion for the YMCA of Greater Houston, Ali Al-Sadani, the Chief Programs Officer, Interfaith Ministries for Houston. We've been talking about refugees and whether or not they need to resettle in this community, governor's bid to stop that process, and the organizations on the front lines of doing this. And I want to come back here to you because you know all about refugees trying to get into this country because you did this.
Yes.
When did you come into this country?
I came to Houston in April 2009 as a refugee from Iraq. I was working with the British and the American troops back home after 2003. And for security reasons, I had to leave Iraq, go to Jordan, stay 2 years, apply for the refugee resettlement program, and then come here.
So when you were leaving Iraq, because there was a legitimate fear of persecution in that community because of your relationship with the U.S., apparently. So did you know ahead of time that in order to apply for a refugee status in the United States, that you'd have to do that from a third country or from a different country? You knew that?
Yes, usually the process is that in order for you to get the refugee status, you have to leave your country.
Okay.
So if you cross the border of your country for security reasons and seek refugee status, then you are a refugee. If you move within your country from one area to another, you are internally displaced person, which is another vulnerable category.
How long of a process was it for you from start to finish?
Back in 2009, it took me 1 year, and I had to go through multiple interviews, security check. I had to prove why I want to become a refugee.
Was 1 year faster than the norm?
Now, absolutely. Now the process is the average is between 18 to 36 months.
And you were leaving your country, so when you were leaving your country, what kind of emotions did that provide for you when you were making that decision to know that you were going to leave your country and may not go back?
Cambrel, no one wants to leave their country, that's for sure, unless you have to, and you are forced and you are seeking protection and safe haven for your life and your family's life. It's really a stressful situation and traumatic, because you are leaving everything behind and you are coming to an unknown situation.
And you'd been to college. What was your degree before you left Iraq?
My degree is in mechanical engineering.
Okay, so you came here and now you're doing this for the Interfaith Ministry. So you're one of those success stories. Jeff, what's a typical success story in terms of how resettlement happens?
Well, throughout the history of YMCA International Services, and we see this progression where in the short term, we're providing assistance to refugees, helping them get on their feet with housing, but it's all focused on early self-sufficiency and it's getting that first job and then making the progression in terms of learning English, pursuing your education, and then advancing and being successful in career and life. My wife's a great example of that. She was a refugee from Vietnam that arrived in 1980. She spoke no English. She had 3 years of college. Her first job was at Whataburger, slicing tomatoes and shredding lettuce. She got her education. She worked as an accountant. For the last 20 years, she's been working as a software developer. You can't tell me that that small investment that was made in her initially has not paid off multifold.
Well, the reason we wanted to have this conversation is because a lot of times we talk about things we don't really know the facts. And so I wanted to make sure we had that opportunity to talk about the facts. I'm chairman of the board of YMCA of Greater Houston, so you should know that. I'm familiar with the program. I don't work directly with Jeff, but I know about the program. I just want us all to know what the facts are so we can have the conversation. We may disagree, but at least we know the facts and we can start that dialogue. Thank you guys for coming in. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, you know, millions of people may not know what they think about refugees and immigration, but they know what they think about football. They love it. Just as the NFL winds down their season, we're gearing up for the XFL. Yes, it's back, and they hope better than ever. President of the XFL and the Houston Roughnecks here, ready to start the season next. Are you ready for some football, XFL style? Check this out.
Don't make it easy. Here we go, set, go!
Let's go, let's go!
Let's go, fella.
Phase 2, day 2. That's just some of the energy of preseason. The XFL wants to be contagious as they get ready to get the season underway. Here this morning, Jeffrey Pollack, the president and chief operating officer of the XFL, and Brian Michael Cooper, president of your Houston Roughnecks. I say your because I got my Roughneck pen. I'm ready. He's ready to go for this season.
We're ready to go. You're a member of the team now. Thank you for that.
I'm free. No payroll cost to you either.
Well, we are a startup. Thank you for having us, and thank you for the interest. Look, what I would say is we're ready to go, And the most important thing I can say about what we're doing at the XFL and with the Houston Roughnecks, it's all for the love of football.
How is it different from the previous XFL and the previous teams that have tried to do football outside of the NFL season?
Well, here's what I'd say. We share a spirit of innovation with what took place 20 years ago. We share the same brand, XFL. But what we've done this time is really make sure that we have the time and the resources to prepare and plan. And we also have, I think, very unique broadcast partnerships. And all of our games are going to be nationally televised, 4 national TV windows every weekend. That is unprecedented for a new sports league. So when you think about the time that's gone into prepare for the gameplay, identify our players, the rules, the time that we have to grow, and it's going to take time, and the broadcast partnerships that we're starting with, we think we're in good shape.
Brian, let's talk about the players. Where do you get your players from, and what kind of level of quality can people expect to see on the field?
I think it's going to be an incredible level of quality. The talent level is amazing. I think that's going to be the one thing that fans really going to be excited about. We've got a great group of guys in already. I mean, we've got guys like Connor Cook and P.J. Walker at quarterback, Coney Ely on the defensive side, Sammy Coates. A couple days ago, I think there was a video that went viral with Joe Horn Jr., where he had really kind of twisted a player around, and it was a great catch he made. So I think the players are going to be at the very highest level of quality, and I think you're going to see some good individuals out there.
Is there a challenge to make sure that the quality of play is something that people can look at and say, okay, that's pro football, as opposed to, okay, a level up from college? I mean, that's got to be an ongoing thing, because in other, NFL is the NFL. There's nothing like it. So you're not really competing with the NFL, are you?
No, we have our own product, and so we are not. Our goal is to build our own product on the field, and that's what we're doing. And so I think that the players and the talent level you'll see, again, it's top quality. I think that these are players who have played at the highest levels in all levels of football. Sammy Coates, for example, Connor Cook, they've all played at that high level, and you're going to see that same high level of play on the field.
Here's what I'd say. We're not competing with the NFL. We're doing football our way. We start when the NFL finishes, and we're playing when there's no other football being played. We have the best players available to us at that time, the best players who aren't otherwise attached to a football program. Right. And we have a commissioner in the form of Oliver Luck, well known to Houston, and Oliver has put a lot of thought into the design of our rules and our gameplay, and we're excited to get going.
Man, it's a different pace. I understand from what I've been seeing, the pace of the game is going to be faster. How is it going to be different in that regard?
Well, Oliver likes to say less stall, more ball, a quicker game. All of our rules really are designed to bring a fresh spirit to the game. You're going to see a different kickoff, you're going to see a different overtime, you're going to see a different extra point system, and all of it is about giving the game a little bit of an evolution.
What are your goals, first year and beyond?
Well, I think our first goal right now is, I've said this repeatedly, is that we are community first, and we want to be indispensable to the community. And so our goal this year is to build that base, and we're building it brick by brick here in the city of Houston. I think our fans have appreciated this. We've been, at every neighborhood here in Houston, and we're building that fan base. So my goal for year one, and our goal, I think, for year one, is to build that great fan base and to use that foundation to keep going for years.
You make a good point, because everything that's going to be successful nationally is going to have to start locally. And so, and I notice here, we have all the teams in this area doing their training, which is kind of unique as well, different from any other league as well.
We're a single entity sports league, which makes us pretty unique, but ultimately all the action is really at the team level and the community level. We think we're setting the right foundation in all 8 of our markets, especially Houston under Brian's leadership, but this is going to take time, and we're going into this with a sense of patience. Mm-hmm. Success will not be determined on the first game of the first weekend of the first season. Success won't be determined just in the first season. This is going to take time.
Lessons learned from other leagues that tried to make a go of it and didn't? You took notes, you know what's going on, what worked and what didn't work, I bet.
Well, that's why we've set ourselves up the way we have.
How long?
Time to plan, time to execute, time to grow.
How long is the season?
10 weeks.
10 weeks. So starting date is when?
February 8th. For us, it's February 8th, Saturday, February 8th, 4 o'clock, TD ECU Stadium. Good
deal.
We're getting there.
Well, we're going to make sure that everybody knows. We're going to put a link to the XFL site on the Newsmaker site, so you can go there and find out all the information. I was telling them before.
And buy tickets.
And buy tickets. I was on there, and then you get on the email, and you get drawn in. The website drew me in. I was there for an hour. I shouldn't have been. Thank you, Jeffrey,
Thank
Brian.
you so much.
Appreciate you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck in the season. Thank you for my pen. I'm still not a paid employee, but I'll wear the pin proudly. Thank you very much. Hey, a look at a special week ahead. Right after this, when Newsmakers continues. Local Congress people here talking about what it means for all of us. Hope you'll join us. We'll see you back here again next week.